here, these are some of the new releases. We have 2022 that they are not common with the farmers, but we expect that farmers from this conference, they'll be able to get to know some of these varieties, and they'll also be able to adapt them. That's why we are here. So these are basically commercial sugarcane. They are being crushed for production of sugar and other byproducts such as molasses, the spirits, and the rest. Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is indeed very interesting. If I'm a viewer, then I'm curious about starting this trade in sugarcane. What are some of these, what are these sugarcane being resistant from? Which kind of pests and which kind of diseases have you improved this sugarcane from?
Yes, there are quite a number of pests and diseases that affect sugarcane. One of them is we have the smut. Most of these new releases are resistant to smut. Smut could consume up to 50% of the farmer's produce. But with the new varieties, they are resistant to smut, but more so, they are high in terms of sucrose, which now converts to the table sugar that we do.
Oh, very interesting. And what are some of the current trends in research in sugarcane? What are some of the things you've realized from this research that you've just done? What is coming out of the industry right now, and what can we do to improve varieties?
Most of late, there's lack of sugarcane as a raw material. But these new varieties, they're early maturing. So that is one of the things that is beating up on the industry. And apart from being early maturing, they're high in terms of sucrose content. So when they crush, you are able to recover a lot of sugar from them. And they're also resistant to most of these common diseases and pests in the industry. That's why I advocate for farmers. And they've got wide adaptability. Like you can realize, Siaya County, they are already gearing up for sugarcane production. And some of these varieties, they can perform well even in Siaya County here. Yes.
What are some of the value addition you can do with sugarcane? What else are you advising the farmers to do besides just crushing the cane for sugar, of course? What are the other value adds in sugarcane,
There are quite a number, but they are along the value chain. We have from the bagasse, we are able to get briquettes. This briquette can act as a source of fuel for farmer. We also have molasses. Molasses can undergo further processing, and we are able to get spirits, the beverages, the sanitizers that are used in the industry. Along the chain, we also have the molasses that can also be used as an additive in the animal feed so that they can increase on their palatability, how much they are able to consume. Even on other byproducts, for example, the briquette can also be carbonized so that can be used as a source of fuel. So basically, whatever comes out from sugar, currently there is no waste. We also have the plates, disposable plates. They actually come from another byproduct of sugar, and you see from bagasse, you're able to get disposable plates. Yes.
Now this is interesting, disposable plates. How was this achieved? Do we have the capacity and the machinery to come up with some of these items, just locally, even here at the county level?
Yes, these are being done locally with most of the sugar. For example, KBC Sugar is doing this. So they have got a paper section that they're able to produce this. So they're being produced locally and in large numbers. Yes.
From where you sit, what has been the impact or the uptake of some of these value-added products of sugarcane? How are the farmers receiving these products?
Well, the industry is still revolving. I will not say that much because it's when we are coming up with the industry. We measure before sugar was our major product. We are trying to diversify to add more value even to the byproducts. So currently you are still revolving. We cannot say it has been uptaken that much, but we hope for the best as we move on. Yes.
And I'm asking everyone who I visit about their outcome. What do you think would be the outcome for you after this conference? What is your takeaway from this? What do you foresee you'll take away from this international conference?
Well, our visibility, that is number one. KCRET is just a new institute that was formed the other day. We want such platforms so that we can create visibility, so that farmers are able to know us, they're able to see what we are doing. At the same time, this conference also has given us a platform so that they are able to see some of these new releases, the varieties that we have, and the attributes. That's why we are selling them to the farmers. So, and it's more so, Siaya County, as I said before, is also a new area where sugarcane is being grown. So we wish they start on a better platform with the current and the new, most improved technologies. Yes.
And where do you go from here? Where does the research take us? What exciting things should we wait for? What should our viewers look forward to in this industry, even as we continue to unearth some of the mysteries that lie within sugarcane?
Yes, sugar research is still taking us far. Remember, we are now venturing into other byproducts. We are trying to push down the maturity level of these sugarcane varieties. So when that happens, we'll cut down even on the importation. If they plant these, if they adapt these new technologies, we'll cut down on the importation and we'll be able to be sugar sufficient. We can produce enough for us and even supply to export to other countries. Yes.
And this is very important, especially for those looking to enter this sector. Perhaps if from where you sit, even if it's personally, maybe tell us, in your view, what will be the best policy or legislation that can be put in place to help this industry grow? Of course, sugarcane farming has been in the country for years, but it has its ups and downs. But what else can we do as a country to make sure that this takes off even higher than where it is?
I think as we stand, we are in the right place. Remember I mentioned of the Sugar Act 2024. It has really brought in a lot of gains. Once these are rolled out with the current government, we know that the sugarcane is going to go forward because it has revived most of the industries, most of the stakeholders that had gone down, the farmer organization, research, which was the basic. So the new act that has come into place, we're expecting to get a lot from it. And that's why even Kesireti is standing here today. So it's kudos to the government and the new policy, if it's implemented, how it's being done, we expect to even have more and more. Yes.
Indeed, thank you very much for speaking to us. This has been very insightful and we've learned a lot from just these very few exhibitors. But now, let me just switch to Wycliffe, who is, where is Wycliffe? Wycliffe is in Siaya as well. He's just somewhere around me. Let me hand over to him, and he has a guest with him. Guest Dr. Paul Orina, who is the Director General, Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute. Let's hand over to him with his interview and see what he'll talk about when it comes to investments in capturing fisheries aquaculture. Back to you.
That will go all the way up to Friday. Remember, President William Ruto is the chief guest for this particular conference and will be addressing the gathering, or rather the conference, on Thursday. But earlier on, we came to you live with the regional coordinator in charge of fisheries, that is in charge of fisheries in the regions of Nyanza and also West Kenya. But yet again, we continue discussion on blue economy. You could be asking yourself why we have a sustained discussion regarding this area. Remember, this is Siaya is one of the riparian counties that rely massively on Lake Victoria for livelihoods, and blue economy is touted to be having much potential that remains untapped to. Currently, it's only contributing to about 50, actually less than 50 billion shillings annually to the country's GDP. But then that is supposed to go all the way to 250. So what are the market gaps? What are some of the underlying areas that should be addressed? That is the for discussion I'm going to have in the next few minutes with my guests here. I have the Director General for the Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute, that is KEMFRI, Dr. Paul Orina, also Dr. Kiope Olurore, who is the Executive Director for One Health and Development Initiative. Welcome, Daktari. It looks like you've done massive research in the blue economy. All of you are doctors in this particular spectrum. Yes. The Siaya International Investment Conference, starting us off, what opportunity does it present to the blue economy from your perspective?
Thank you so much. The Siaya Investment Conference presents a great opportunity in the blue economy. The blue economy space is one of the most untapped areas, we can say, globally, and now the whole world is going blue. And so Kenya as a country must be at the forefront of going blue, but going blue in a safe way. And so I will tell you for sure, Siaya County is getting it right by saying, let's refocus on the blue economy. Yes. This is untapped potential. The beachfront is wide. The space they have into the waters has been unexploited. Yes, it's been exploited in terms of fisheries, but fisheries is dwindling. So we're also looking at the possibility of scaling up our production of fish through aquaculture, but safe production, very critical. Yes. The rivers feeding in to the Lake Victoria through Siaya County, the opportunities there are untapped too. Yes.
You speak big on capture fisheries and why the reason it is dwindling. I will ask you shortly, why do you think that is happening? But coming back to you, that name is
Kiki.
yes, Kiki. Yes, aquaculture is a new frontier. What do you think would be lacking in terms of optimally exploiting this area?
So you've asked a very good critical question, and also in line with what you've said about investment. Now, in Africa, continentally, the field of aquaculture is growing very rapidly. Fisheries and aquaculture, actually. However, one of the things that's kind of limited the growth and expansion is the issue of quality production of fish in a safe way, as mentioned by Dr. Paul, and also in terms of the management practices that help to produce quality, fish products. Now, there are several financing models, several emerging financing models and investment models, and even insurance models that have been coming up across board from the bank, the IFC, and all of that are seeking to align with ESG, with alignment with welfare standards, with environmental standards, with social standards, things that ensure that we have sustainable production of fish and aquatic products. So one of the key things which has been a gap in Africa has been alignment with these standards. How in our production of fish and our growth, how are we ensuring that we are also keeping our community, our food healthy and also safe for consumption, and also our ecosystem sustainable. So if you can be able to address this very critical part, we'll have a lot of farmers get access to financing, get access to insurance and de-risking mechanisms, get access to markets, local and international markets that are actually demanding that let's have better quality production of food in a way that helps ourselves as humans and also sustains our ecosystems.
Aquaculture, it is quite a wide spectrum. There are so many value chains involved along the way. When we talk about production, talk about processing, talk about distribution, what could be, do you, in your opinion, these all areas are underexploited, or there's one critical area that you think when much focus is put on, then aquaculture will grow optimally?
So in aquaculture value chain, every stage of the value chain has to work together to be optimal. There is no, of course there are critical points in production, but none of them must be left behind. But I would say that for a start, what we can start from critically is the production stage. We need that production stage to be, to work. We need farmers to be trained on better production systems. Every value chain is important. I wouldn't say anyone should be left out, but let us start at the farm level. Let's start having farmers being aware of how to grow their fish in an ethical, sustainable way. Let's have farmers also being able to transport their fish, be able to produce their fish or store their fish in a way that the food is still safe for consumption and is not contaminated and all of that. So across the value chain is very important for that cohesive, robust growth, because if you're going to be scored on all these standards and compliance, they will not score you just for farm production. They will score you also on how the animal was, processed along the value chain. So all of this is important, but at least for a start, if we are going to have a start somewhere, let's improve that farm production place. That is a very great starting point.
With that said, the Siaya International Trade and Investment Conference, what opportunity do you think it presents for this aquaculture subsector?
Yeah, so I was very glad when Dr. Paul said that they have representatives from Kemfree also and also from Blue Economy. So I think it presents a lot of opportunities. I think aquaculture stakeholders need to be more visible, and we need to make ourselves more visible in the space. There are a lot of investment opportunities, and people are looking for what to invest in. But how can we convince people that aquaculture is a viable place for the investment? And by attending this kind of conferences, we can be able to make the case. We can be able to, there are a lot of already proof of concepts. Researchers are already doing, like in Kemfree, they've done a lot of research on efficient systems, scalable systems. It's just for them to present them to these investors, for them to understand how this can work in real life and how they can invest and get returns for both the farmers and also the investors. So it's a wonderful opportunity. I think it's amazing that the government is taking taking this opportunity as very important.
Yes. Dr. Paul, the Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute that you head as the Director General, part of your mandate is conducting that research and coming up with findings that will inform potential investors in this particular sector on what to expect. We like when you began, you mentioned that the capture fisheries, that is now the almost the mainstay for farmers in this region. What do you think is causing the dwindling, and how can that be reversed?
Well, capture fisheries dwindling is not a Lake Victoria phenomena alone. It's a global phenomena. And probably as the populations have grown in the world, people have also come to appreciate eating fish. Today in Kenya, there are communities that were traditional not fish-eating communities, but now are consuming a lot of fish. The issues of health, people are going for white meat, and fish happens to be one of the best choices of white meat, and for that reason the demand for fish has equally grown, but at the same time the pressure on our aquatic ecosystems is high in terms of how many fleets are in a given water system, and the catch that is gotten out is much lesser than it was before. The effort is much greater, and that means even the breeding grounds probably are at risk. Issues policy. And how do we ensure that our people understand the essence of breeding grounds for fish in Lake Victoria and any other water body, and ensure that those areas are protected? Because then that is where the next generation of the fish you are looking for will come from. The other aspects could be the environment in terms of pollution. Trust me, I grew up in Kisumu. In the 40s I was here. Kisumu was a much smaller town, less population, but now the industrialization has gone up. Domestic waste has increased. How do we manage all this? That is Kisumu, you talk of Jinja, you talk of Mwanza, Homa Bay. All these towns have grown, some have grown into cities. And you can imagine the pressure that is going into our aquatic ecosystem. Those are critical aspects. Are we, as Kenyans, as fishermen of Lake Victoria, are we able to regulate ourselves? I know they have their BMUs. I want to challenge that they take the onus of ensuring that they take care of their aquatic ecosystems. Let nobody come to actually school you on how to do it. We already know. We have capacitated you. We have told you what is right to be done. Take it now upon yourselves to make sure that you regulate according to the policies what is supposed to be done. When it is public-led, it's more effective than when we come policing you and chasing you around to do this.
And how can we turn that challenge into an opportunity, an investment opportunity?
Well, now with the dwindling of capture fisheries, I will tell you, in the 40 years ago, people would catch an oil patch my size, and they'll pull it on a cart, and you'll see two men sweating to push this up to the market. But today you don't see that. So how do we turn this around? Aquaculture is the opportunity. And I'm happy that the people on the Kenyan side, Uganda and Tanzania, have taken it up. And so we are seeing now greater investment coming in terms of cage aquaculture, land-based aquaculture. The hatcheries are coming up. The feed industry is coming up. The value chain nodes are working now for the aquaculture value chain. We now want to strengthen it, make it more resilient and more structured. There are no leakages in between. But basically, when you have quality feeds, you have quality fingerlings, you expect high production from aquaculture. And now what we want also to enhance is management at that production level, just to ensure that the systems are safe, but we are getting optimal production. So aquaculture is the way to go for the blue economy.
And even as we wind up, there's also the issue of the landing sites. We've seen the government actually establishing landing sites in the riparian area, talk of along Lake Victoria, and also the Indian Ocean that is in the coastal region. Apart from the landing sites, what other area do you think also the private sector can also chip in to ensure that proper investment in this subsector is achieved?
Well, one of the key things is cold storage. Very, very critical. The areas that we are identifying as landing sites, let us also be alive that climate change effects are there. And so we've already been pushed. People have already been pushed. Talk of Lake Baringo, Lake Naivasha. People have lost investments because water has reclaimed its own space. So we are being critical in terms of citing where we have to do this investment, and we are pleading to the private sector players that they join hands with the government. The government is at the forefront, courtesy of the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs. Our CS, Honorable Hassan Joe, is making every effort to ensure that we have fish that is produced and straight to the cold storages and also transported to the markets.
Thank you so much. Well, we continue our discussion of the blue economy with the specific focus on aquaculture and also capture fisheries. That conversation continues later.